You don't think of yourself as a spender. You don't drive a luxury car. You don't fly first class. You don't buy $300 shoes. But somehow, your money's always gone. You open your banking app and scroll. There's no single villain, no giant charge that screams this is where it all went. Instead, it's a graveyard of small decisions. $5.99, $8.50, $14.23, $1 here, $2 there. Each one felt harmless when you tap by. But together they're a pattern. And the worst part is you don't remember half of them. It's death by 1,000 receipts. You didn't overspend. You leaked, quietly, repeatedly, without thinking. And that's the trap. It didn't feel like a decision. It felt like nothing. But the truth is, every swipe, every tap, every I deserve, this is a decision. Even when you pretend it isn't. You didn't choose to be broke, but you defaulted your way there. Because this is what no one tells you. Most people don't go broke all at once. They go broke $7 at a time without realizing they're doing it. You tell yourself it's just one drink, but it's 5 a week. You tell yourself it's just delivery, but it's $18 after fees. You tell yourself it's only $12 a month, but it's 12 things at $12 a month. You've trained your brain to ignore the small stuff. But the small stuff is the budget killer. It's the financial equivalent of dripping water on concrete. One drop doesn't matter. 1,000, that's erosion. Here's the hard truth. You don't need to make 6 figures to build savings. You just need to stop defaulting into spending. Because habits spend faster than logic saves. Want proof? Let's say you spend just $11 a day on small untracked stuff. That's 70 cents a week, $33 a month, over $4,000 a year. And most of it you won't even remember. You'll just feel that vague panic when rent is due, when groceries cost more than expected, when your car needs new tires. You'll whisper, I thought I had more than this. But you didn't. You just forgot what you spent it on. This isn't about guilt. It's about awareness. You're not irresponsible. You're just unconscious. And unconscious spending is one of the most expensive habits you can have. So here's your move for 7 days. Track every single dollar. Yes, even the $1.29 gum. Yes, even the $3 tip. Write it. Every single one. Not to punish yourself, but to wake up. You won't believe how fast the fog lifts when you finally see the numbers in front of you. No more autopilot. No more I deserve this without doing the math. You don't need to stop enjoying your life, but you do need to start noticing the leaks. Because the smallest cracks are what sink the ship. You think you're careful. You budget, at least in your head. You know your rent, your phone bill, your car payment. You've memorized your fixed expenses like a script. You even avoid big splurges. But somehow your checking account still gasps for breath before every paycheck. So what's going wrong? You're not reckless. You're just leaking in plain sight. And the reason it's so dangerous, because it doesn't feel like leaking. It feels like living. You're not out buying designer stuff. You're just grabbing lunch after a long shift. You're not impulse shopping. You're just adding to cart because it's on sale. You're not throwing money away. You're just trying to make life feel a little less hard. But all of it, the casual automatic just this once kind of spending it stacks up. And then the math slaps you. You sit down to check your bank statement thinking, okay, this won't be too bad. And 5 minutes in your stomach sinks. $12.29, Uber Eats $5.97, Starbucks $10.83, Target $3, Apple subscription $19, monthly donation. You forgot you set up 2 years ago, $38.42, Amazon. None of it felt big, none of it felt bad, but somehow, it's over $200 in a week. And the cruel part is this, you probably don't remember half of it. That's what unconscious spending does. It doesn't feel real. Until it becomes too real. Here's what's really happening. You're managing your emotions with money, not your budget. You swipe to feel better. You tap to feel distracted. You buy to feel safe, happy, seen. Anything but broke. But ironically, that's what keeps you broke. Your purchases aren't just numbers, they're emotional pressure valves. And if you never stop to question them, you stay in the loop. Spend, regret, repeat. This is why budgeting apps don't work for most people. Because the problem isn't just awareness, it's avoidance. You don't want to see where the money goes. Because if you see it, you have to feel it. And feeling it is painful. But here's the truth. Pain is data. And if you want to stop bleeding money, you have to stop numbing out. So what do? You stop lying to yourself about the small stuff. Start treating 4 like it matters. Start seeing 11.73 as an intentional decision. Start recognizing that every cheap thing still costs something. Because it's not the price that hurts you, it's the pattern. Once you see the pattern, you can finally break it. Here's a practical move. Go through your last 30 days of spending and label everything with one word: need or noise. Be brutally honest. Rent need. That late night $18 McFlurry plus Postmates delivery noise. That $9 subscription for a workout app you haven't opened since February noise. The 6th green juice you bought to feel healthier after stress eating all weekend noise. It's not about shame, it's about strategy. You're not bad with money, you're just tired, distracted, unaware, but you don't have to stay that way. Financial freedom doesn't come from one big decision. It comes from hundreds of small ones made with your eyes open. Start with this one. Look at the last 10 things you spent money on. Would you still choose them if you had to feel each dollar leave your pocket? You tell yourself it's just coffee. And it is, for about 5 minutes. But what you don't see is what happens when 5 minutes becomes 5 days a week. One drink, every morning. That little ritual you cling to because it makes the chaos feel normal. Because when your job sucks, your schedule's packed, and your brain is already at war before 9 a.m., that $5 cup is a small act of self-preservation. You've earned it, right? You tell yourself it's a reward, a boost, a way to feel like your life isn't just a grind. But let's do the math you avoid. 5 a day, x 5 days a week, zarv, $25, 4 weeks, $100, add a snack here and there. Now you're at $150 a month. That's boundary $800 a year. And if you tip or order extra, or do this on weekends too, easily over $2 grand, $2,000 for what? Comfort. And here's the hard part to swallow. You're not paying for coffee. You're paying for a feeling, a brief moment of control. Because deep down, life doesn't feel manageable. So you buy small moments that do. You walk into that coffee shop like it's a sanctuary. The sound of the machines, the familiarity of the order, your name on the cup, it grounds you. You wait in line, scrolling your phone, half distracted, half hoping the world slows down for 5 minutes. But here's the truth you need to face. This isn't about coffee, it's about routine emotional spending. It's about needing to feel something that life isn't giving you and swiping your card to buy it instead. And no, the answer isn't never buy coffee again. The answer is know why you're buying it. If it's a choice, great. If it's autopilot, that's a problem. Here's something to try. Pick 1 week. Bring your own coffee. Every day. See how much you save. See what comes up emotionally when you don't get the usual fix. You might feel annoyed. You might feel deprived. You might feel like your morning is missing something essential. That's the point. Because once you learn to sit in that feeling without reaching for your wallet, you start to reclaim power. Saving money isn't about never enjoying life. It's about no longer depending on little purchases to keep you going. That's the real shift. And imagine what else for an $800 a year could be. 3 months of groceries. A weekend getaway you actually remember. Paying down your credit card. Starting an emergency fund. Buying back your peace of mind. You don't need to cut every joy from your life. But if that joy is leaking your money and masking your burnout, is it really joy? Or is it just caffeine-covered stress? Be honest with yourself. You're not a bad person for buying coffee. But if you're broke and still buying it daily, maybe it's time to ask, what are you really paying for? Because if you want to stop living paycheck to paycheck, you have to start making different micro decisions. And that $5 cup, it's either comfort or progress. It can't be both. You meant to cancel it. That free trial, that streaming app, that fitness subscription, you told yourself I'll use it, then you didn't. You told yourself I'll cancel it tomorrow, then you forgot. And now it's been charging you for 6 months, not once, not twice, but quietly, automatically, in the background, every single month. Welcome to the slow bleed of forgotten subscriptions. You don't think about them. You don't even remember them. But they're there feeding off your checking account like financial parasites. And the worst part, you're the one who opened the door. Let's say you're only spending $12.99 for Netflix, $9.99 for Spotify, $14.99 for some productivity app, $5.99 for a photo editor, $6.99 for a meditation app you used once. That's already $50 a month, and we're just getting started. Add in the ones you really forgot about, that monthly charge for cloud storage, that online course you swore you'd finish, that food delivery membership you don't even use. Before you know it, $100 a month, $100 or $200 a year. And you didn't choose to spend it, you just didn't choose not to. That's the difference. You're not spending money on your lifestyle, you're spending it on your inattention. Because here's the emotional truth. Canceling things feels like failure. You signed up for that fitness app because you wanted to change. You kept the streaming service because it feels like potential comfort. You told yourself, I'll get back into it. But deep down, you know you won't. And every month your bank account absorbs the cost of that quiet denial. It's not just money you're losing. It's peace of mind. It's awareness. It's control. Every automatic charge is another reason your budget feels tight even when it shouldn't be. So here's the move. Set a 30-minute timer. Go through your bank statement, line by line. Search for anything labeled subscription monthly or recurring. Cancel at least 3. Start there. Not to punish yourself, but to clear the noise. Because clarity is power. You don't need to be subscribed to 12 services to feel entertained. You don't need to keep paying for the version of yourself you hoped to become last January. Let it go. The emotional trap is this. You think canceling means giving up. But it actually means waking up. Waking up to where your money is hiding. Waking up to where your shame is hiding. Waking up to the fact that your $9.99 nothing is a slow theft of your financial future. Ask yourself, would I sign up for this today knowing everything I know? If the answer is no, unsubscribe. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to stop funding a version of yourself that no longer fits. Your money deserves intention. Your future deserves better than forgotten fees. You don't need more discipline. You just need fewer distractions. You don't just buy clothes. You buy how you wish you felt. Put together, attractive, confident, worthy. It starts simple. A cheap jacket that makes you feel cool. A dress that makes you feel new. A hoodie that feels like safety. But it doesn't stop there. Soon you're adding things to your cart late at night, convincing yourself it's just a little treat retail therapy. A reward, a distraction, a dopamine hit. You tell yourself this is harmless. I've had a hard week. I deserve this. And maybe you do. But let's look at the math. 127 item here, 143 outfit there. Free shipping if you spend $75 so you grab 2 more things. That happens 3 times a month. Suddenly your bank account is $250 lighter. And your closet, full of things you wore once or never at all. Still in the bag, still with tags. Still waiting for the version of you that matches the outfit. Because here's the emotional truth. You're not dressing the life you live. You're dressing the life you wish you had. You buy workout gear before you build the habit. You buy date night clothes before you even have plans. You buy statement pieces hoping people will finally see you differently. But here's the reality. You don't need more clothes. You need to feel comfortable in your own skin. You don't need a new look. You need to heal the parts of yourself that feel invisible. Fast fashion isn't just a waste of money, it's a financial mirror of your insecurities. And marketers know this. They show you models' aesthetics moods, not products. Because they're not selling fabric. They're selling identity, and you keep buying it. One flimsy trend at a time. Here's a practical move. Start a 30-day no-buy wardrobe reset. No new clothes, no accessories. No, but it's on sale loopholes. Instead, wear what you already have. Mix it differently. Style it with intention, and pay attention to what makes you feel confident without spending a dollar. You'll notice 2 things. You already have enough. What you were really chasing wasn't clothing. The more uncomfortable truth, sometimes you shop because you feel lost, because buying something new feels like forward motion, but it's just noise. You're not upgrading your life. You're just repainting a locked door, and every unnecessary haul pushes you further from financial freedom. Imagine if you'd saved half of what you've spent on clothing this year. Imagine if that money was sitting in a savings account right now. Imagine wearing peace of mind instead of new sneakers. You deserve to feel good in what you wear. But you don't have to go broke to do it. So next time you feel the itch to buy something just to feel better, stop. Ask yourself, is this a solution or a symptom? If it's a symptom, walk away. You're not your clothes. You're not your cart. You're allowed to look great without dressing over your wounds. You didn't plan to order takeout. You swore this week would be different. You even bought groceries. You even thought about a recipe. But then work drained you. Someone pissed you off. Your brain fog rolled in around 6 p.m. And before you knew it, DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats. Again, you scroll paralyzed by decision fatigue until you land on something you barely want, but desperately need not for flavor, but for relief. And then you do what you always do. Tap, wait, overpay, regret. It's not just about hunger anymore, it's emotional triage. And the price it adds up fast. Let's break it down. 18 lun for food, 3.99 delivery fee, 4 points Yao tax and tip, 2 point Yao hours service charge. That $12 burger just cost you nearly 30, and that's just one order. Multiply that by 3-4 times a week. You're spending $350, $400 a month just trying to get through the day. That's over $4,000 a year on food that doesn't make you healthier, doesn't make you happier, doesn't even taste that good half the time. You're not eating for nourishment, you're eating for escape. And that's the real issue, because here's the emotional truth. You're not lazy, you're overloaded. You're trying to survive your own life. And food delivery feels like one less decision you have to make. But it's costing you, not just money, but momentum. It trains your brain to believe I can't handle one more thing, not even dinner. And that belief, it bleeds into everything. So what's the move? Start by reclaiming just 2 nights a week. No delivery, no apps, no takeout. Even if you just make scrambled eggs or a bowl of rice and beans. Even if it's basic, even if it's boring. You're not cooking to impress anyone. You're cooking to remind yourself I can take care of me. You'll be surprised how fast the power returns. Because food isn't just fuel, it's identity. And when your identity becomes someone who always orders out, you stop trusting yourself to handle anything. You don't need to go full meal prep. You don't need to post aesthetic fridge photos or eat like an influencer. You just need to cook like someone who values peace over panic. Put your phone down, turn on music, cut a vegetable, feel the difference. Is it harder than ordering? Yes. But is it cheaper, healthier, more empowering? Always. You're not too tired to cook. You're too tired of feeling like you're falling behind. So choose to slow down. Choose a night where you don't pay $28 to numb yourself for 15 minutes. Your future self is already thanking you. You tell yourself this is different. This isn't like coffee or takeout or clothes. This is for growth. The smartwatch, the standing desk, the $80 water bottle that reminds you to drink more. The ring light for your future YouTube channel. The $250 running shoes for the fitness plan that starts Monday. It all feels productive, like you're investing in a better version of yourself. But here's the problem. You're not buying for who you are. You're buying for who you hope you'll become. And most of that gear, it's collecting dust. The camera's still in the box. The planner that died in February. The online course you stopped halfway through lesson 2. Because here's the emotional truth. You want the feeling of improvement, not the process. Buying gear gives you a surge of motivation without the risk of failure. Because once you start, you might fall short. But buying feels like momentum. Safe, controlled momentum. You tell yourself, once I get this, I'll really start. And maybe you do, for a week. Then life gets in the way, the gear goes in the drawer, and you start planning the next purchase that'll fix everything. It's a loop, one that drains your money and buries your self-trust. Let's talk numbers. That $300 camera never used. The $120 workout gear still has tags. The $60 budgeting software too complicated. The $70 self-help bundle. You skimmed it once. None of it was evil, but none of it changed your life either. Because tools don't create transformation, action does. And you can't buy your way into discipline. So here's the move. Before you buy one more life upgrade, ask yourself, have I used what I already have consistently for 30 days? If the answer is no, don't buy anything new. Use what's in front of you. Stretch on the floor before buying a yoga mat. Run in the shoes you already own. Write with pen and paper before buying a productivity app. Because if you can't start small, you won't sustain big. And your money should fund who you are becoming, not who you're pretending to be. Imagine if you took that same money and paid down debt, built your emergency fund, took a real day off, hired someone to help you clean, cook, or rest. That's self-care, that's support, that's traction. Gear feels like progress, but it's often just decoration for a life you're not really living yet. You don't need a better setup. You need a better habit. So next time you feel the pull to invest in a new tool, pause. Ask yourself, am I buying this to take action or to avoid it? Your bank account doesn't care what your intentions were. It only reflects what you actually did. You don't feel like you've spent that much. That's the scariest part. You're not reckless. You're not throwing money at luxury goods or wild nights out. You're just surviving. Trying to stay afloat. Trying to make life feel a little less hard. And somehow, month after month, your paycheck disappears like vapor. No big purchases, no vacations, just hundreds of small decisions you barely remember making. Because you didn't say, "I want to waste money today." You just didn't say anything. And that silence is expensive. You're not financially broken, you're financially disconnected. You don't need a raise to start saving. You don't need a perfect budget to feel better. You need to wake up. Because unconscious spending will always feel cheaper in the moment and cost more in the long run. Think about what you've learned. That $5 coffee isn't just caffeine, it's emotional autopilot. That $9.99 subscription is a tax on your forgetfulness. That $28 takeout order is relief disguised as nourishment. That $45 impulse buy is your self-worth trying to dress itself. That $120 gadget is a placeholder for action you haven't taken. Individually, they feel harmless. Together, they're the reason your savings account still says $0. Every dollar is a decision, and you've made hundreds without meaning to. But that ends today. Because once you see the pattern, you can change it. Not overnight, not perfectly, but consistently, quietly, honestly. Start by asking this every time you're about to spend. Do I need this, or am I just tired? If it's comfort you're chasing, pause. Give yourself a moment of discomfort and choose clarity instead. Because when you start noticing the little leaks, you stop sinking and start steering. Let's make this honest. Drop a comment with the one thing you know you waste money on. No guilt, no lectures, just awareness. Maybe it's that $6 drink you grab without thinking. Maybe it's the delivery habit you swore you'd cut. Maybe it's 5 different subscriptions draining you every month. Whatever it is, name it. Because once you name it, you take its power away. And if this video helped you feel seen, not just judged, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need the same wake-up call. The truth is, you've been trying. Trying to stay sane, trying to stay afloat, trying to keep your head above water while your wallet keeps sinking. But you're not failing. You're just tired of swimming with your eyes closed. You don't need to punish yourself to save money. You don't need to deprive yourself to feel in control. You just need to come back to consciousness. Start seeing what's been invisible. Start hearing what's been whispering underneath every swipe. This isn't about money. This is about how I feel. You're allowed to feel. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to change. And most importantly, you're allowed to stop pouring your paycheck into holes that don't serve you. That's all for now. The rest is yours to feel.